welcome one and welcome all inside High and Tight, the flagship show, part of the IA Baseball Network. It is so glad to be, well, we're so glad you're here. Not it, we're so glad you're here. Thanks again for tuning into the show that's all about baseball, from the high school level to the college to the pros, all with an Iowa twist. Again, this is High and Tight. I am Andrew Brown, one of the co-hosts here on the show, and as always, really appreciate you coming along for the ride. This is one thing that we love to do, get to do, have fun with doing. And again, hopefully you're having a good time with us right here. All right, making sure we have everything set, and we sure do. Again, thanks again for joining up. What a show we have here for you today. And I say that because we get the chance to talk about another inspirational journey. And I mean, we on the show, we try and do that every show, right? From Justin Toole, making the, running the risk, deciding not to go and continue his playing days and instead go into coaching, is now director of player development at the Seattle Mariners organization. And of course, even non-Iowa guys like Stephen Schock, I should say, the guy who ended up just betting on himself, didn't get many D1 offers, if at all, right out of the gate, ends up going to UVA his final year, and now he's in college baseball stardom. So it is absolutely phenomenal, and that includes all the way down to guys like Tommy Specht, and of course Carter Baumler, who again had a phenomenal time with the Arizona Fall League, and again, just a great overall cast of characters we've been blessed to have on our show. So really appreciate, again, tuning in, making this a part of your day, because, again, we want to, again, going back to Justin Toole, the guy who played all 12 positions, or every position on the field, I should say, in one single game. He's been very versatile. He's just been a very great guy. Overall, you can't ask for a better guy, despite my lack of math here. But hey, again, fun show today, because not only have we had guys like that on, but we're going to have another very inspirational story here. And that comes from former Hawkeyes standout, a former Iowa Central talent, and the one and only Jalen Martinez. He had the goal of making it D1, and out of Iowa Central, he went to Ball State, now with Arkansas State. And he has had such a great, inspiring journey. And I got to say, hopefully everyone got the chance to check out the preview we had. And I before we get into it, I will say just one quick thing here before we dive into that full recorded conversation here. I'm going to say that, there are not many people like Jalen out there. Not too many, because as the Facebook post mentioned, as Twitter mentioned, Instagram mentioned, there are a lot of obstacles that get thrown your way as an athlete. And it's your job to pick yourself up and navigate around those obstacles. And let's be honest, some of those obstacles are made by you, right? So those are the biggest ones to overcome. And Jalen had his fair share of obstacles, including his own. And he got through it, and I think it's a real immense mental talent. If you can figure out, you can find where the motivation is. Because there's motivation, I believe, in seemingly everything. How can you find the motivation to pick yourself up and continue to go? That's intrinsic motivation that you can't coach. And Jalen Martinez really has that skill. And we were blessed to be able to share his story with you here today, and can't wait to get to that. It's absolutely amazing. It is something to behold. So really, truly check it out. And everybody out there listening, from players to coaches, I mean, this is something, I got goosebumps here, guys. I truly get goosebumps, because his story is something that they write about in fiction books, right? The guy who came down from nothing and rose to stardom. The guy, you take a look at the biggest stars out there, the Yasiel Puigs of the world, coming from very little and making stardom. That's just the thing. And we get the chance to have a lot of those great players in Iowa, including Jalen Martinez. And he looks at it from all viewpoints. He's as cerebral with the game as he is physical. And it is truly something that I hope everybody can listen to, take in, and take from. He does a phenomenal job. And so, again, it truly is a huge talent, and it's a skill to be able to find the motivation and to wade through all that negativity to come out on top like he has. His goal was to get D1. He's D1, right? And again, and our prospect planner will give you here, he went through the JUCO route, and now he's D1. You know, the JUCO route is certainly nothing to be scared of, and certainly is scared of in a different way, where it has a lot of dudes there. you're gonna work your butt off just to maintain, and you really got to rise to the cream of the crop, just like any other league, any other division. So, man, Jalen Martinez embodies all of that. So, again, without further ado, let's get right into it. Again, this show brought to you in part by a lot of great folks out there, including the great folks at Victory Mounds. Now, Victory Mounds, I will say, ladies and gentlemen, they are your ace when it comes to premium baseball and softball products and services. Whether it's the pitching mound, or, hey, even as small as the pitching rubber. Check out their website, victorymounds.com. You'll find everything you need to know about the pitching rubber. They've got it right there for you. All the questions are answered right there for you. And it's premium quality, guys. They are based in Iowa. They do great things. Of course, they span all across this great country, but they do a great job here in Iowa. Again, from not just pitching mound, pitching rubber, home plates, bases, in fact, your field. That's right. They can help you with your field with their field consulting services. Mike Donahoe, who's in charge of products and equipment, will make sure it's nothing short of absolute premium great quality for you. And, of course, you have Craig Allison, who's the national sales executive. Both of those guys are journeymen in the industry. They know what to do. And one of the guys who helped set this up, and he knows what to look for. He knows how to make this happen. Every one of the guys do at Victory Mounds. So I would urge you to check them out. Help out Iowa business, but more importantly, get yourself the best quality at the best price with Victory Mounds. Of course, also got to go ahead and mention the great folks at Insolites who bring us our insolites.com hotline. And as always, hey, if you have an electric fence out there and you are tired of getting shocked just to check your fence, you don't have to dream about a day where that doesn't happen anymore. Of course, all you need to do is check out the LED insulated flashing light that you can see from up to half a mile or more away, guys. It truly is one of the best things out there. Pick place onto almost any type of post, and I guarantee you, almost any type of post out there. And you just watch it work from the comfort of your own home. Or your car, I should say that. I wanted to swap that around there. From your comfort of your car, nay, your own home. You can check to see if your fence is working and working properly. See, the thing is, it goes with the pulse of the fence. So if there is no pulse, there is no light flashing. It truly is that simple. There's nothing in between. It's really that simple. And you can even help try and pinpoint where a break may be occurring in your fence. Hey, simple as that. Check them out at insolites.com today. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and let's get into it here. The one and only conversation with Jalen Martinez is absolutely phenomenal in every which way. So we're going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have it all wrapped up in a bow here, right here on High and Tight. We'll be right back after this.
RDA Financial Network is a proud sponsor of IABaseball.com. RDA supports the sport of baseball in the state of Iowa. We believe the game of baseball promotes many values such as hard work, determination, and teamwork, values that matter on and off the baseball field, and values that we demonstrate to our clients every day in our offices across the country. RDA provides financial planning and wealth management services to our clients in 6 communities in the state of Iowa. RDA Financial Network is an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. RDA advisors may offer securities through United Planners Financial Services, a member of FINRA and SIPC. United Planners is not affiliated with RDA Financial Network nor IABaseball.com. Please visit RDAFN.com to find an RDA advisor near you.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, want to give out and say, hey, before we go any further, make sure to check out. We have a signed Carter Baumler rookie card here for you. If you get the chance, hey, make sure that you listen to this and, hey, just give us your thoughts on what you heard and more. All kinds of great things out there. You could get your chance at a free signed Carter Bromley rookie card. Also, we'll be at the Iowa Coaches Clinic, and we will have a very special giveaway for you. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into our conversation with the one and only Jalen Martinez on his trip from JUCO to D1. Take a listen and enjoy. And welcome one and welcome all inside. Well, it's Prospect Planner time here on the IA Baseball Network's High and Tight. Thanks again for joining us and making this a part of your day as always. It's always great to kind of have this conversation and to be able to do this with you guys. And this truly is one of the most organic types of things you can ever do, as it is the pursuit of the college game beyond the field. What do you do? How do you become the holistic player? And we've got a good one in store for you today. It's going to be a fun one. We're going to get it from the player's perspective, right? And we got a guy who knows obviously the game very well, but both in a physical and cerebral way. He has got it down. It's the one and only Jalen Martinez, former Hawkeye and Iowa Central star, of course, on to Ball State, and of course headed to Arkansas State as well. He's a 300 hitter, guys. He's done so at Hawkeye, Iowa Central. Of course, he did so at Ball State, and we're going to get the chance to check with him in just a couple seconds. But before I do so, got to bring in my co-host, partner in crime for this segment, brought to you in part by RDA Financial. And guys, these are truly men and women who know what they're talking about. They've got the brains, but also the community sense about them. They are in and ingrained in the community in which they work. And I tell you what, it's none more evident than as I bring in Chad Erickson to join me from the immaculate card room. Chad, once again, you upsell me with this card room. I cannot believe it. Welcome back.
Someday we'll have to have a show and tell, maybe.
You know what?
But
yeah. I just recently I was telling them. I was telling him off air. I got this huge 700 card box, Topps box, and of course this was prior to the 74 season. So it's got some vintage to it. So, but as you can tell, I think Chad might have me beat beyond that mark here. So hey, we'll have to have a show. We'll have to do the show and tell show from the card room someday. That'll be cool.
Maybe someday I can put together some treasures to share.
Talk
a little bit about baseball history.
That would be an entire segment in its own, Chad. I think we could go ahead and we could have this new segment brought to you by RDA called Card Talk. I don't know. I'm spitballing here. There's
a lot of people out there in the YouTube world that talk about cards all day long.
Yep.
So we need just to look into that bucket. So, but happy holidays to you, and I'm glad we're able to do this here, sneak this in between the holidays and all the family events and things like that. So It's good to see you again.
Yeah,
and I'm looking forward to talking with Jalen today.
Oh man, and I got to tell you, this is going to be a fun one here. Of course, I am on remote. I do got the sign. But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for this guy, it's still here. I got it. And then, Taco Tuesday is something special. Plus, we got a lot of different cards here. Again, I got my different cards here. This one happened to be the Carter Baumler card. But, talking about cards, I had to have representation here of something. The other ones are in a bundle. So, I did poor planning, I guess. But again, I'm really excited as we get to talk with Jalen because his journey, Chad, and as we talked, has been something inspirational. Everybody out there, it's not, there's so many multiple paths, and Chad, you talk about it. There's so many multiple ways to get there and to get to a big time school like Arkansas State. And Jalen has pushed through. He's persevered through all of that, and we're so glad to get him on here. And as we do so, we'll dub him the one and only Jalen Martinez as we bring him onto the screen. Jalen, thanks again for taking the time, man. I know that you have, I mean, from getting back to school, getting in the grind. I know you've been in the baseball grind all day, every day. No days off for you. But really appreciate you taking the time here, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is something I was trying to do for a while. Saw some of those podcasts you were doing, and I love talking baseball. So this is
Yeah.
perfect for me. You got my ex teammate Carter Baumler's card. You got my Taco Tuesday Spanish heritage going. So this should be good. This should be good.
I love it. I love it. We definitely bring it all to the table as much as we can anyway. But I got to tell you, Jalen, first and foremost, you have all, as you are right now, you have always brought that energy. You've always brought it there. It's always exciting to the table. And I got to say, back during the playing days at Waukee, it was the same thing. So I love the authenticity it has brought to the table. There's always that energy and that focus. I mean, of course, I know your dad well, and he's kind of, it just seems like he's the kind of guy that can also bring that energy all day long. So,
Yeah.
uh, you kind of had a baseball background. I know your dad's been big into that, but you have blazed your own path through baseball. Uh, Take us through, I mean, the early goings up to Waukee as well. I mean, that's kind of
Oh yeah.
where all this process started.
Yeah, so you got to know my dad a little bit, so I kind of give off the same vibe he does. We're always just trying to spread good vibes, but growing up, he was big into memorabilia. So it's kind of funny you guys are talking about cards because if you would have let me know, I could go into the basement and find some crazy stuff right now, I promise. But when I was younger, he would take me around, getting autographs, meeting celebrities. So off my head, like I've met Ryan Howard, Prince Fielder, we could go basketball, Michael Jordan, Dwayne Wade, and these are just some of the names I've met. But like growing up, seeing all those athletes, traveling the world with my dad, traveling the states with my dad, like really inspired me. And something he taught me early was, as much as I love baseball and I've been doing it for years now, I didn't start playing baseball until I was like 8 years old.
Wow.
And he would still take me around the games. I would have my glove with me. I'd want to play so bad, but he wouldn't let me play until kid pitch.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it was, but I was like, I mean, we're in Des Moines, Iowa, a little league, but I was like one of the best players like that, and it was just the ambition to play.
Oh, I gotta say that ambition truly was on display, and you were part of the Waukee program that of course the year after you left they split up into Waukee Northwest and
Mhm.
Waukee. But I gotta say it was an absolute treasure watching Waukee baseball, and the multiple state tournament runs, all the things you guys did. That was a fun team. And of course, shout out to Coach Dirks, who is
Absolutely.
continually made it. I from the media side get him, and of course at the coaches
Hmm.
clinic maybe get a little bit of not coach mode Dirks.
Yeah.
But what has it been like for be from a player's perspective to play for that guy who seemingly has a really great mind for baseball?
Into high school, it's kind of different because Waukee, like I'm blessed to go to a good high school, and even with that, like I was a younger, like I couldn't play as a sophomore just because there's kids that were bigger, stronger, whatnot.
Uh huh.
But so as when I was younger, I was kind of scared of Dirk. So I was like, "Oh, am I good enough to play? Like, what does he think of me?" But as I got older and got more comfortable, me and him got a lot closer, and he was all about performance and trying to keep the team together. But if
Hmm.
there's one things about Dirks, he really cares about baseball and he cares about the kids, and that's what I loved a lot about him.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. He's Coach Dirk's phenomenal, and it really seemed as though he also had the mindset of, okay, what's next for you guys? And talking with him as we talk about the JUCO route, ladies and gentlemen, about the path that it takes, the multiple paths. We've talked on this segment many times before. Jalen has now lived it. Now you've gone through. It seems like Waukee was seemingly a great place to prep you for that next level. Now, I know I'm give a shout out to all the schools as well, but with Dirks, he always seemed to have that in mind about, okay, what can you do to help translate to that next level? He was always thinking the next as well. How much did Waukee help in that prep mode? Because college ball is a different game.
Absolutely. And I don't think it was until I actually got to college where I really realized how lucky I was to have a good high school coach.
Mm.
Because there's some of these kids who are good ball players, but they just weren't well coached. They didn't have structure. But I had that from the get. So I'm definitely lucky with that part.
Yeah, well, hands down. And again, shout out to Coach Jerks and Waukee. But as we travel along the path here, of course, great upbringing. Shout out to your dad. A great high school. Shout out to Coach Jerks and Waukee. But then the JUCO route. So, of course, I got Chad here with me as we talked a lot about that. He's going through that with his sons as well. Just the path of the different choices here. And so, Chad, I'll let you go ahead with this one here as we start to dive into the Iowa Central side of things and what that was like here. So, Chad, I'll leave this off to you here for a question. But this is the fun part, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the fun part.
Yeah. So, I'm assuming you did some showcases and got your name out there outside of what you were doing on the field, and so when you and I assume your dad was probably helping you along the way. When you're making that decision of, do I go to an NCAA school or do I go to a junior college? What what went into that decision making process for you? What were the qualities of the junior college program that maybe pulled you that direction? Or was it more of a factor of, hey, I love baseball, I'm really good at baseball, but I need more time to develop, and maybe the NCAA route wasn't available to you as a graduating senior? Kind of where do you fall in there?
So I was one of the kids who was very skilled, but it was to the point where it's like there's guys at the Division I schools that are just like you, plus 25 pounds and a lot stronger, bat speed, arm speed, whatever. So I was kind of stuck in the middle between like, hey, I could go make a Division I roster, but am I going to play? And I don't like it's all about self reflection, and I don't think I would have played. And so I had to go develop a little bit. And I will be the first one to tell you that JUCO ball is not a joke when it comes to that because it will humble you really quick. And that's what happened to me when I got to JUCO. I got humbled within the first like 72 hours, the first week, the first month, the whole year. It was a huge humbling session, and I learned a lot.
Well, and the thing about it is, it's really cool. Is you ended up what sophomore year ended at a 346 average. I mean, what 13 home runs. I mean, it really seemed to pan out for you really well. And we talk about how can you be successful in the path? How do you know that? You ended up, man. It was a great route. I mean, a great path. And of course, Iowa Central, man. Not only do they have great facilities, especially now. But it's
Mm-hmm.
been they've had kind of that moniker of success for quite a while. How did that help you in your pedigree? And again, being successful in JUCO ball, which, as we all know, as you said, is no joke.
Mm-mm. It is no joke. There's grown men there, and when you're coming out of high school, you learn quick that not everybody's little boys anymore. So, but I want to give a shout out to Eric Stein and Jake Astor at Iowa Central. They did a phenomenal job with me, just showing me the ways of actually how it's supposed to be done the right way, putting in the work, doing it the right way. But yeah, Iowa Central, they're always winning 30, 40 games a year. It's pretty quiet, but they're doing it every single year.
Yeah,
And
Yeah, so
finally, they got that new field. The facilities are looking up, and I mean, if I'm in high school, I don't know why I'm not going to Iowa Central, close to home too.
yeah,
yeah, we played a game there last year, and talk about a great facility. Holy smokes! I mean, it is in Fort Dodge. I know Fort Dodge is primarily known for the sport complex where the girls play, um,
Yeah.
Harlan Rogers, and
Hmm.
Iowa Central Field's right there too, obviously. But maybe more known for the Iowa Girls High School State Tournament right there in
Yeah.
that area. But then to have this field, oh, what a field. And now they've got the practice facilities there. Just incredible to have that in Iowa. And it's great to see those schools investing in baseball. So
Mm-hmm.
I just circle back on something that you said, Jalen, about putting in the work and doing it the right way.
Mhm.
Can
Mm-hmm.
you describe what that means to you? Like, take us through what you feel is a day well spent training to be a better baseball player.
Yeah. So what I meant by like doing it the right way is like I can't just get better tomorrow. Like if I have a hitch in my swing going backside or something like that, I can't just fix it in one hitting session. Like that's just not going to work. And if I show up to the field every day thinking I can just spend 15 minutes on something and fix it game time, it's not going to work. And so essentially doing it the right way for me is being consistent. Like if I'm going to go lift, and for me, I'm a two-way. So I have to pitch, I have to hit, I have to lift. I got to get all that done in a day. But it's like, how much time am I going to spend on my mobility? How much time am I going to spend on the lift? What's the intensity of my throwing? Like it's stuff like that where you have to just be consistent every day to gradually get better because it's not going to happen like that. Not even close.
That is very much true. And too many times do we see the attempt of that, and it can, again, I don't know if you've seen that. Of course, Iowa Central, I don't really see that at all, this at all. But you see guys get injured, and then you kind of go, "Wow, what happened?" These guys were coming in there hot, and that preparation maybe not as consistent with it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Absolutely.
I feel like again as we continue up that ladder, you almost have to be that consistent to wherever you go. I mean, to
Mm-hmm.
make it in JUCO ball, and again, you get guys that like yourself now going on to Arkansas State. I mean, good heavens! I mean that you get big time opportunities because you put in that work and it's consistent,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean that again we'll continue to move on here, but consistency, is that has to have been one of your big points as you were just talking about.
Well, yeah, it doesn't matter which level you're at. Like, let's say I hit 300 at JUCO and then hit 300 D1. It's 300 both places. And at the end of the day, I have to perform to play on that team, and I have to perform to play on that team. And if I want to help that team, I have to perform even better. So at the end of the day, it's a performance-based game. As much as I love it, I love spending with my teammates. Like at the end of the day, it comes down to can you get it done? Because when a coach is going to throw you out there out of the bullpen, a pinch hit, he's going to be like, "Hey, do I trust this kid? Is he going to get it done?" Because his job's on the line at that point too. And at the end of the day, once you figure out that this is a business, it's not just a USSSA tournament. Like, let's go win a trophy. Like, there's people behind the scenes getting paid to do this, and they're paying you to do this. Vice versa, other kids. So once you realize that, you start to take it more serious, and once you start taking it more serious, everything starts aligning. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no kidding. And again, ladies and gentlemen, here on the Prospect Planner, there's absolutely no kidding around with Jalen Martinez, who has made it big. Of course, going D1, that was the goal. But the again, as Chad and I have talked about, man, everybody wants the D1. The D1 picture is big, right? I mean, of course, everyone wants to hit the major league ranks right away, but then of course you have D1 ball, and you're in it. You've had you're going into another year of D1 ball. So the whole thing about JUCO being a myth or being one of those, oh man, do I go there? We've already kind of spelled it out here, but looking at it, obviously no joke. It gets you a lot of places here, and of course, it landed you where you are. I mean, how much would you, when you look back at it, how much do you credit that JUCO route and just making that decision? And again, I'll add on to that question by asking, do you feel like JUCO route is now in a better state of everybody's mind? I mean, is everybody in your eyes getting the picture like you did when you were playing there and getting more respect?
I think people are pushing the JUCO route better than they were when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
First off, I want to end the narrative that hey, if you go to JUCO, you're dumb, you're different, you're not doing what everybody else is doing. I promise you, in the long run, you're not dumb. You're smart
Yeah.
because you're going to pay less money. You're going to get the same education, same credits. You're going to meet some of the nicest dudes you've ever met.
Yeah.
and you're gonna become a man, honestly. Because me without JUCO, I don't even know who I'd be, because that's just part of me. That's just part of me. And you can ask anybody that went JUCO, but without that, I just don't even know where I'd be. I have no idea.
Oh man, and again, that is to a T what we're trying to push here. Jalen, you have led this, and everybody out there, I gotta say, Jalen's journey has been nothing but inspirational. If you want to track it, go ahead, track it exactly, and it's been great here, Chad.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm glad to hear that, and make kids realize that it's not an end all be all to say, well, it's Division 1 or nothing, right? Because we all develop at different. Uh, it's not linear. We've talked about that on this podcast
Mm-hmm.
multiple times, and you'll have your setbacks, and so something that I've kind of been asking people on the podcast here, but also just throughout my baseball life is take me through maybe like your first year at Iowa Central, because I got a hint that maybe you had some obstacles and some adversity that first year transitioning from high school, a really successful high school program, to a successful junior college program. Take us through how you dealt with your adversity, especially in that first year. I think that's kind of where I sensed maybe you had the most to deal with in your transition.
Yeah, so my freshman year, obviously I had a good high school career. I had a lot of upside potential. So like going into my freshman year, it was big for me to kind of make an impact right when I got on campus. But once I did that, I had some bumps in the road my freshman year. I'm not gonna lie. There were some guys that were stronger, faster, bigger than me, more dialed in, more consistent. And I was kind of having, not character issues, teammate issues. Like I was always a good teammate. I just was lost. I was kind of lost. I wasn't the same ball player I'd always been. I was trying to do too much, like trying to hit the ball so hard when I wasn't even big enough to be trying to hit it that far, stuff like that. But I don't know if I should disclose this, but like after my freshman year, like I got all my scholarship taken. I was a full, no, not a lot of people know this, probably like two people. So I'm going to let everybody know just because it's part of my story. But
Mm-hmm.
I got every single penny of scholarship taken from my JUCO after my freshman year, and he credit Eric Stein because he motivated me to this day. But he said, "Hey, you can come back if you want. We have a place, but if not, we might be better off without you." And so I had to look myself in the mirror, and I went from walkie, just passion for the game, and then it's like, dang, am I even gonna play next year? Like, and then I'm like, ooh, should I transfer? And I'm like, where am I gonna transfer? No one's gonna take me. I hit horrible. I just had a bad season. But I looked in the mirror and I was like, Stein's motivating me right now. I took that as motivation because it's like he's not giving up on me. Like there's a reason he recruited me out of high school. I just need to screw my head on and quit being, an idiot. So that motivation that summer that I got from that exit meeting, let alone, was just enough that it fueled me to the next season and to be a better teammate, to be more performance based, like result based, and it worked out. I'll tell you that. And when people were like, "Oh, he had a pretty bad freshman season, but he came back and he destroyed his sophomore season," I will tell you it's because I got all my scholarship taken, and I had to question if I was even going to play baseball next year. So
Wow.
there's that.
And now,
Thanks for sharing that story. I know that's probably not an easy story to share. I mean, it's tough when you get humbled like that, and I think you did a great job, obviously, of dealing with that adversity. That's
Oh yeah.
that's remarkable for you to have that happen and end up where you're at today. That's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. That's great. I mean, you deserve to be commended. It's one thing. It's one thing to have everything handed to you, and you get to Division 1 because of you have all this talent. But it's another thing entirely to be told at the junior college level, well, this
Yeah.
isn't working. You can come back and try and fix it. We'll allow you to try and fix it, but we got to give that money to somebody else, and now end up at the Division 1 level. I mean, that shows the type of guy you are, the character that you have, the perseverance, the
mhm.
hard work you put in, and you should be commended for that. That's a great story, and thank you for sharing
Well,
it.
that's the business part of it. So I think that's the day I decided it was a business because I lost my job that day. They were like, "You can come work for us like unpaid, but you can come work." And so I did that. I took my time, unpaid, and I freaking grinded it out. But that wasn't the end of it. That wasn't the end of it. Obviously, Iowa Central, I had some adversity, but went out to summer ball in the Northwoods after Iowa Central, and I think that's what really sent me to the next level. Like I had a great JUCO season. I had a good time at the community college route. But like once I got to summer, that's where I started playing with more Division I kids. Really starting to see how I ranked up against people at that level because I'd just been, at the JUCO level.
Yeah,
And yeah, summer ball is really what lifted me to Ball State. And I will tell everybody. So I have a good buddy, actually, Jackson Payne. You know Jackson Payne from Hawkeyes. So he's at Kirkwood now. He's out pitching, and I've been talking to him and whatnot. But what was I going to say? I was trying to get him a summer ball team because he's working through the recruiting process. And I asked him yesterday, I was like, "Hey, you got a summer team yet?" He's like, "No, we haven't gotten to that." And I was like, "Maybe you need to get a summer team because that's what those JUCO kids really need. If they can sign a contract, like a temp contract in the summer, half contract, whatever they can do to get in front of coaches' eyes against their level they're trying to go to, that's the best thing I could say for that."
wow, and that's great. So take me through that.
That's great.
You get the chance, and again, we're trying to talk the holistic player, and what does that mean? And again, for parents as well, parents are kind of wondering what's the path to take. You get to JUCO. Well, now what? And after it's not just the workouts, it's not just the lifting, but what's more. So you talk about the fact that you went summer ball. What was the decision initially that took you there? And then, of course, what was that process like? I'm sure that once players arrive there, they kind of go, well, how do I navigate this now?
And it's kind of a business. Like as much as you think you're just going there to play baseball for the summer, like it's either you live close to home, so you live at home, or you have a host family. And I think the biggest thing for me was both summer teams I had host families. So not only are you going to the ball field every day, you met this whole new family. They're bringing you in, and those are people I still talk to. I can go text right now, both my host families. They're awesome people. You get to meet people all around the country. I think some of the closest friends that I met during summer ball were from California, and they're still in California, but I'm in Iowa, so it's like. But I think it's super funny that you cross paths with people like that in summer ball because once we get to the season here in the spring, we'll start seeing names pop up on ESPN, hitting home runs, ESPN Plus, all that stuff, and I'm gonna be turning heads like, "Oh, I played summer ball with that kid. I played summer ball with that kid." Like, and that's just how it is. That's the business of it.
Well, I guarantee you're also going to be the one of those that are turning heads, and we go, yeah, we interviewed him. So Chad,
Yeah.
mark this day down. We're going to say, hey, we got the chance to talk with Jalen himself, and so Jalen, that's our claim to fame now. Just
Yeah,
let
hey,
you let
I
you
can only hope for home runs in the spring. I can only hope. I'm training for it at least.
there you go. Hey, we know it's going to happen, and we know you're going to get there. One of the things here again with going in last thing on summer ball, and then we'll get to another topic here, but you're going in, and gosh, how much did that, I mean, you're talking about the business side of it too, but you got some really good coaches that are also college coaches themselves. We've seen that
Mm-hmm.
from Tyler Willis did the prospects. He is now with
Mm-hmm.
Wartburg, an assistant at Wartburg, just one of many. He's been very instrumental. And he had mentioned, hey, this is a good time for me to do kind of pseudo recruiting in a sense.
Yeah.
But so you get coaches that obviously know what the college game is, and I think that's important. Knowing the game in general is important, right? But the college
Mm-hmm.
game, you talked about the business of the college game, so they know the business of it. They know the performance aspect of it. How much did that all help drive you when you were going there, and kind of just the people around you?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird because I wish I played in another summer league as much as I like the Northwoods just to get a different view. but I'll always be pro Northwoods. Like you're playing every other day, mostly every day. Like I am with that. I love baseball. I'm playing all the time. But the thing about the Northwoods when I went there is like you're going there to learn, build your resume as a JUCO player, but so are the coaches. You know, they have to build their resume, say, hey, I worked with these kids. This is my plan after that. And then along with that, so are the umpires, the people working up top, the volunteers, like everybody's learning, building their resume, and it's all to make each other better. So that's what I really liked about Northwoods and Mankato and in Waterloo.
Wow. And again, talk about, yeah, Mankato, Waterloo. Does that, even though you've played on one team 1 year, it doesn't seem like it guarantees the same spot the next year, right? I mean, how does that end up working out? Do you get that you, since your name's in the hat, do you get an invitation? How does that end up as a player and as a parent trying to pursue that?
Yeah, so I started with the temp contract with the Bucks, just like I'm telling everyone else. Try getting a temp contract just to get your name out there because I was supposed to be there for 2 weeks and I ended up being there for like 2.5 months.
Yeah.
And that's just me being a two-way, like left-handed pitcher. I can hit. So they were like, oh, we need this guy around. Like I ended up staying. But that's basically it. Those temp contracts get your name in the door. You get in the door, you get that minor league feel kind of, and you start performing. That'll really get your name on the freaking yeah, especially as a JUCO player.
Oh man, God love that. And then again, ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is the Prospect Planner brought to you by RDA Financial. And hey, from obviously the dollars and cents all the way to the community, these guys know what they're doing. And hey, they're in your community, just like Chad. You are. You're ingrained. We see. You and I have been talking a lot. You're in the Bishop Heelan area. You're in the Sioux City area, and it is. You have really embraced. Obviously, we got the Bishop Heelan hat here, so I love that. By the way, the basketball team doing good, football team did good as well. So really, really love that, and I love the sense that we have here. Again, you need that kind of sense of community to go forth and do things, and that is challenge yourself to go the JUCO routes and stuff like that. And so again, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to check out RDA Financial and Chad Erickson and do that today. One thing here, Chad, before we continue on, I just want to ask Jalen as well. We have seen in today's age the transfer portal. It's seeming, right now in football, it's huge, and all sports, it's huge. It seems like it's now the free agency of the professional leagues, from basketball, baseball, football, what have you. But there seems to be a lot of complicated stuff behind it. Now, you have been both kind of in that seemingly where the transfer portal was harder to utilize. Now it seems easier to utilize. What has that process been like for you? And how do you know when the right, how do you know when the right time or right instance is to use that?
Yeah, so the transfer portal, I got really lucky. It's a sore subject because there's a lot of people in it. There's
Uh-huh.
a lot of coaches looking at it, and there's only certain needs. So like when I was in the Northwoods, a lot of people were in the transfer portals, but a lot of people were similar. So it's like it's really what a team needs. So like when Arkansas State hit me up, they really needed a left-handed pitcher. And like granted, I play outfield, so they can add the bat tool too, but they needed left-handed pitching. And so that's what separated me from the other people in the transfer portal.
Uh-huh.
But like I said, waking up every morning in the transfer portal, it's a weird feeling because you don't know where you're gonna end up. You don't know who's gonna contact you. You don't know if you're gonna get back to the level you were at before. So it's a weird place to be. And if I had to say one thing, if you're somewhere comfortable, like, stay there, but utilize the transfer portal for playing time because at the end of the day, like I played at Ball State, I ended up transferring for other reasons, but if you're not playing somewhere and it's a good program, all this, I'd hit the transfer portal. I mean, the only reason I did was financial reasons. But if it was for playing time, I would have stayed at Ball State and I would have worked my tail off to get more ABs, get more innings because I loved it over there. But financially, I needed to move on. But the thing I hate is seeing these kids stay at programs that they're not going to play for 4 years, but deep down, I know they're good ball players. They know they're good ball players And it's tough to see. And there's people like that where they're fine doing that. But yeah, that transfer portal, man. I'm glad I'm out of it. But I'd go back in it if needed.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're gonna look forward to what you're gonna rock here at Arkansas State. By the way, love their facilities. I got the chance to look at their facilities. You know, that's some pretty good stuff there. So if anybody's interested, Arkansas State is a darn good place to play here. Um, yeah, really,
We
really
got
fun.
some local names. I think I was at Sports Plus the other day. I saw Dylan Christensen. He just recently committed to Arkansas State. So congrats to him. He'll be there next fall. But yeah, it's nice. It's really nice seeing some Iowa talent around. Coming to Arkansas State, Ball State, anywhere I've been, like seeing Iowa kids is a plus for me.
Yeah, absolutely love that. And it's, of course, everybody, again, we're talking with the one and only Jalen Martinez here. And Chad, I think, again, that's quite a, college now from a parent's perspective. It's definitely changed, right? Even from when I went to college, and you have mentioned it's changed a lot since you played and you had your college time as well. So this kind of seems like it's moving parts, and I think parents out there kind of definitely should take heed of that. And when it comes to, and you've even seen it from yourself, from your visits as well here, Chad, about what are the coaches kind of looking for, and what do your playing time, what it logistically may be.
Yeah, I mean it's when you're trying to find a place to play, I think Jalen hit it right on the head. Go somewhere where you're going to get the time and get the opportunities. Um, Junior college is less expensive, and we haven't really hit on this, but the additional practice time, especially if you're a developing player, which Jalen, you were when you went to Iowa Central. And I think there are a lot of kids who are coming out of high school and they've got good height, but they haven't put on their manly weight yet. You go from that
Yep.
170, 170 to 180. You need to, you hit 190, hit 200 pounds. That's a lot of additional muscle to put on, and that adds a lot of power. It can add some speed as well if you do it the right way. So, we've talked about this a lot, just the additional benefits of junior college and being more affordable. And like Jalen said, you're getting those credits, and those credits are going to follow you. And
At the end of the day, everybody wants the status. Everybody wants to say that D1. And I'm Division One. I promise you, I don't feel any cooler than I was when I went to my JUCO. I'm still Jalen Martinez. I still live in the same household with the same family that loves me and supports me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once you step out of like this is the athlete stepping out of baseball. The D1, the facilities, the schedules, all that is very cool. But at the end of the day, what's the percentage of people that go and play professional baseball? This is something they really hit at Ball State because like there's people that get drafted there every year, but like the other 95% of the team that doesn't get drafted, what are they doing? They're going to use their degrees. They're going to go get a job. And so when the real life aspect comes in, you're saving money at your JUCO. Like I said, you're getting the credits. They're transferring over. You're gonna come out of college with a lot less debt than anything. And that's the real world. You don't want that. You don't want that. You want to stay away from that. And we're here to play baseball. So let's avoid all the money and play baseball. How about?
Yeah.
right.
Hey, I love that. Put that on a shirt, right? I mean,
Yeah.
avoid the money, play baseball. I absolutely love
Mhm.
that. I might have to put a little bit by Jalen Martinez on it. So we'll give you the credit.
It's all you. It's all you. As long as we're saving money, more JUCO kids, I love it. I love it.
And the one thing, too, I want to touch on that Chad mentions that extra practice time for JUCO. Now, I know when you get, like you said, you talked about your schedule in throwing, in hitting, in lifting, in agility, and all of that tied in. That's almost a full day in itself. Then again, I think a lot of people look at athletes, especially like you, Jalen, and go, oh, okay, that must be it. They don't think about now you have your academics.
Mhm.
So you have all that. Your plate, I can only imagine, is as packed to the gills as possible, all the way up until when you have to fall asleep at the at the
Yeah,
end of the night. And so, how much has that? And again, that only intensifies when you get to D1 as well. But how much? It seems as though that JUCO route really kind of helped out with that extra practice, that extra gear. It seemed like that
yeah,
was some of that untalked about benefits that they don't necessarily think about when
it
people
is.
JUCO.
It is because when like so I use that extra practice time. Like I found myself at the cage probably like 11, 12 o'clock sometimes, but I probably won't be doing that now. I'll probably be sleeping. But that extra practice time when I got to Division 1, we would do hard things, and it's like look over there. Oh, it's a JUCO kid. He'll be fine. He probably did something at his JUCO where they almost tried killing him, and he was fine. Not killing him, but they conditioned so hard that this dude's mentally tough.
Yep.
So it really brings it in. Like Division 1's hard. The workouts we do is hard, but the stuff that you experience at JUCO is just different. Sticks with you. It just sticks with you different. That one extra workout that you did that early morning, like you always remember that. Always remember it.
Oh man. Hey, and again, it gets you to that next level, whatever that next level is. And of course, so we have Jalen Martinez here on the prospect planner segment here on High and Tight. Chad, as we start to wind things down to this is something that, again, ladies and gentlemen, we want it to be organic. And what is the best path to kind of take? And it's all over the place. Do you, like Jalen said, kind of do you make, get your time in. But I got to say, one of the things, Jalen, that Chad and I talked about that he looked at, and Chad, I remember you had talked about sitting in the coach's office, and then you're having a coach ask other players, have you eaten your, I don't know how many calories, thousands of calories it was.
Yeah, I think it was 1,000 calories for breakfast or something like that.
Jalen, what has that been like for you? That's another hidden thing I don't think people talk about in athletics in general. Once you get to the college route, I mean, it seems like they're forcing you to put on all this weight. First off, what was that like for you, and how important was it for you to have meal plans or things like that,
Yeah.
regular food regimen?
So when I got to Iowa Central, we had a food plan. Like the people that lived on campus, and we had like when we had classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we had mandatory breakfast at 8 a.m. or I think it was like 7:30 because classes started at 8.
Yeah.
But so Stein was making sure everyone's going to breakfast because if you go to breakfast, you go to class. You don't go to breakfast, you're not going to class. So they make sure you go to breakfast, get your calories in, go to class. But there's just all these different tools. It wasn't really like they were forcing it on you. It was like, hey, eat this food, gain weight, or you're just gonna stay the same. You're not gonna get any better. So I've used a couple apps through my time in JUCO, tracking calories, trying to see what I'm intaking. But as far as now, I've learned more. This is more outside of baseball, but as far as the food I'm intaking, I've been intaking more protein in like a solid form instead of the protein shakes or anything. I've been making more food. So I'm really good on my calories now, but I just purchased this Whoop. It's like a sleep performance thing. So me and my team at Arkansas State do that. It's kind of just a recovery app that we do, but it tracks how much sleep I got last night, how many calories I burned. So I've been looking at that, kind of just trying to stay around 195, 200 pounds before the season. But I will say it's kind of a grind to kind of stay consistently where you're at because I promise you, some days I want to eat dirty. I want to get a little burger or something. It's just not worth it. It ain't. It's not like we're wrestling or anything. It's not that strict, but I'm
Yeah.
trying to stay a little slim.
Yeah. Yeah. And I bet there's some mornings you just got to feel like, hey, where's that Red Bull and all that.
No, you're telling me. And yeah, I will say the amount of energy drinks I consumed when I was at JUCO was crazy. I don't know how I did it. Um, I don't know how. Those JUCO kids, man, they're crazy.
Oh my gosh! It just goes to show. I mean, the all the stuff that you not just I don't want to say pressure, but all the stuff that you guys have going on as athletes. Obviously, Chad, you know very much about that from all the time. Not only as an athlete yourself, but also as a dad going through this here. And I did want to kind of wrap things up. Last couple questions here, by going back to dads here, parents. Obviously, the character of your parents absolutely phenomenal, Jalen. If your dad is one thing, I can only imagine what your mom is. How how great they are. And Chad, I'll attest to you. I mean, all the stuff that you're going through, all the showcases, all the events that you're going through in pursuit of getting your sons to the next levels is really something I hope every parent gets the chance to try and emulate. But Jalen, how big was that for you? I know this is kind of a kind of generic question, but I think I think it's important to really note where you come from is not everything. It's about the character of those around you as well.
Yeah, I think I've gotten to the age where I kind of realized how important the support system is. Like, I would not be where I'm at today. I wouldn't be on this call with you right now if it wasn't for all these other people around me supporting me. You even, everybody here, everyone's supporting. It's all a group action. And once I got to college, I started learning everyone's a lot alike. I was like, oh, your dad coached you when you were 8 years old? They're like, yeah, but then he had to stop because we argued too much. I'm like, that sounds exactly like me and my dad. And so a lot of these stories are very similar. Every dad cares so much about their kids. They love them so much, but it gets to the point where they start bickering. They start arguing and stuff in the car when they're younger, and there's some fallout. But once I've gotten to this age, I can really appreciate all those arguments, those times that the dads have spent extra. Like, it pays off. Because at the end of the day, like, when I'm done doing this, let's say I have kids, I want them to be a baseball player. Like, that's a passion of mine too. My dad has a passion for baseball, and he's not doing it. I am. And so not only am I playing for Jalen, I'm playing for Martinez. And I think it's really cool that, what the dads are doing.
Yeah. Well, again, Chad, kudos to again all the stuff you're doing as well, which is kind of seemingly a lot at times, right? There's this, I know it's not easy. I mean, I've seen you at the PBR All State, the preseason All State showcase, which from Sioux City is kind of a jaunt. But again, you've gone all over the place too, and I think again what I love about talking with Jalen, what I love about the segment is truly just that is that the dedication it comes, and it really helps if the dedication comes from the parents as well here, Chad.
Yeah, I mean, you've heard these stories about Bear Bryant. I think was who the story was about, but I think I know a lot of other coaches have emulated it. I think it's been attributed to Bear Bryant,
Mm-hmm.
but he used to say to get the guys on campus for the first time, and he says, "Have you called your parents? Have you told your parents that you're thankful for what they've done for you because you wouldn't be here if it weren't for your parents?"
Mm-hmm.
And he makes those guys makes those guys make that phone call, right? And as a parent, as a coach, you want to pass along every bit of wisdom that you have, and then you want to put your kid at some point. You got to turn the reins over to somebody else, and you meet a lot of great baseball people, and it really is, they say it's a fraternity. Well, it really is a fraternity, because there's
Mm-hmm.
this game with these rules and this setup on the field that's the same for everybody, right? Uh, we took a little trip. I'm going to give one little story here. We took a trip to Chicago to see the Bears play here on Christmas Eve, and we happened to be eating at a restaurant, and the restaurant Wrigley Field was in between the restaurant and our hotel. So I'm like, well, we're in Chicago. We're driving by Wrigley. We're a household full of Cub fans. We drive by, and there's all kinds of activity happening at Wrigley. So they were having this winter wonderland
Mm-hmm.
event, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then my wife, she starts looking everything up. Angela's looking everything up, and she's like, "Well, we have time tomorrow morning. We can go to Wrigley Field." So next morning, we're at Wrigley Field, and we're just standing there on the field, looking at everything. And both of the boys are like, man, this place is just so huge. It's so big. And I'm like, you know, it is huge. It is big, but you got to remember it's 90 feet from home plate to first base. It's 60 feet, 6 inches to the rubber. Just it's the same thing you guys are playing on. The the fence might be a little bit deeper,
Mm-hmm.
but everything else is the same. It's the same
Mm-hmm.
field. It's the same dimension, right? And
Yeah,
it's tough to get that
that's a good
perspective in a major league ballpark.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
a
Go
mhm.
ahead, Jalen.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's a good lesson right there because the lights get brighter, more fans are in the seat, but at the end of the day, we're still playing that same game we loved when we were little. You know, so that's how I've looked at it. I haven't been in no Wrigley Field yet with the seats filled up, but there's been a couple of thousand before, and it can get a little nerve wracking, but at the end of the day, it's just baseball,
Yeah.
just baseball.
That's true. That's true. Absolutely love that. Chad, thanks for sharing that too. That
Yeah,
that
that was
is
good stuff.
That's a great thing. And finally, here before we end things off here, I do got to ask, and this is a food question, but in order to do this, Jalen, I always have to make this a part of my show now, and or the show, and I
Hmm.
always say to think big. Sometimes I need a big hat, and so
Oh my goodness,
right, right, right.
that's good stuff.
It's a big hat. It's a big
That
hat.
is that's a
Well,
big.
the question I had here, Jalen, if I can get my head on straight here, is it's
Yeah,
literally
that's big. Holy.
it's twice the size of my head, and it's just I mean it. I could fit like my kids get lost in it. If you want kids to disappear, get them a big hat. They disappear quick.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I do want to say, food wise, as we talk here, I know that you have a regiment you stick to, and you can't go out and eat burgers and burgers and burgers all the time. But say let's get to the ballpark and you get the chance to go to Wrigley, and you don't have to worry about you don't have to worry about anything. You can eat whatever you want. I gotta ask, what is a ballpark food that you go to? I mean, what's a good recommendation from Jalen that you would go to when it comes to ballpark food, or even just from the Martinez family?
I'm a 2000s kid, but I'm old school. I don't have to think about this. It's a hot dog. It's a hot dog, and that's the final answer. Nothing's changing. No candy, no hamburger, hot dog. And
Yeah.
even since a young age, my mom, my grandma, they would give me hot dogs between games because I just love the ballpark food. Yep.
Do you doctor it up? I mean, do you do the ketchup mustard thing? I mean, how extensive do you go with your condiments?
I go ketchup. I go ketchup.
Yeah.
No mustard. No mustard. When I was younger, I used to get aggressive and go a little bit of relish. I don't know about now, but I don't know about now. Definitely ketchup.
Uh,
Definitely
and
ketchup.
and last thing, Chad, you and I had a cool conversation on this too. But do you get when you go to a major league park? Do you get the souvenir cup? I mean, do you go and splurge for the souvenir cup, or you just kind of go the basic general? Chad, we'll start with you on that one.
Oh, me?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think I would go for the souvenir cup.
yeah,
I
Hmm.
mean, we've done that in
Yeah.
the past. Like you go to the Iowa Cubs and like you get the ice cream in the little helmet
oh, you have to.
all day long, all day long.
Hmm.
Jalen, so do you go first off, ice cream in the helmet? Do you do that one and two souvenir cup?
Absolutely with the souvenir cup and the ice cream. I grew up going to instead of Wrigley, I go to freaking Principal Park, the Iowa Cubs, but the hat, I always get the souvenir. Always get the
Nice.
souvenir cup.
I'll have to think about trying to turn this into a ice cream. This is a whole bucket full of ice cream. I don't know.
It'd be like, yeah,
That's
yeah, that'd be a lot.
That hurt this.
that's that's a sure case of diabetes.
Yeah.
I wasn't supposed to laugh this hard on the show, guys. Okay. But perfect. Well, with that being said, I'll take that hat off, get the normal hat back on here, and say,
There
Jalen,
it is.
yeah, this is a little bit, this
Yeah,
it's kind of you can put that hat in that hat. I'm just saying.
that's good stuff.
But Jalen, hey, thanks again. I mean, first off, anything we missed, I think chronicling your journey is something that I think everyone really should take a look at.
Yeah. JUCO transfer portal. Make sure you get a summer team.
Yep.
Be financially responsible. Be a good teammate. Get good grades. A lot of the stuff you hear at the showcases, I mean, they're telling you it, but it's true. You got to be on top of your stuff. Get your schoolwork done. Um, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Get your degree, kids. Get your degree. Baseball. I love baseball. We all love baseball, but at the end of the day, I say baseball players get known for being smart people, and let's get our degrees and go from there. That's my best advice.
Oh, hey, love it. Grade A advice. Can't wait to get that going here for everybody. Again, Jalen Martinez. Catch him out at Arkansas State. He has made it D1 and he has done all the right things. And Jalen, thanks again for sharing your story, man. This has been great.
Absolutely.
This has been truly great. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me on, and yeah, hopefully we can do something similar, something like this sometime. I know a decent amount of people here in Iowa, so I could probably influence some guys. We could get something going on.
Oh,
Love this. Love talking baseball.
any
Yeah.
day. Any day. We can
Yeah.
talk this until we're blue in the face and beyond. So absolutely love it. But again, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again, and of course, Chad, thanks to you as well. Jalen, thanks to you, and everybody in between. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the edition of Prospect Planner as we go ahead and kind of take in what is going to be 2024. So appreciate it. And thanks to Jalen, thanks to everybody, thanks to Chad, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.
RDA Financial Network is a proud sponsor of IABaseball.com. RDA supports the sport of baseball in the state of Iowa. We believe the game of baseball promotes many values such as hard work, determination, and teamwork, values that matter on and off the baseball field, and values that we demonstrate to our clients every day in our offices across the country. RDA provides financial planning and wealth management services to our clients in 6 communities in the state of Iowa. RDA Financial Network is an SEC-registered investment advisory firm. RDA advisors may offer securities through United Planners Financial Services, a member of FINRA and SIPC. United Planners is not affiliated with RDA Financial Network nor IABaseball.com. Please visit RDAFN.com to find an RDA advisor near you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, again, thanks for tuning in to the show. It's all about the journey, right? The incredible journey, and I truly meant it, and I hope you got that from this incredible journey that Jalen Martinez has taken. And that's just, he's one of many who have had really interesting and incredible journeys. Of course, Jalen's, I feel, is one of the most inspirational. He has found out some of the truths behind the game as well, and he has still succeeded beyond obstacles that, again, even he put in his own way. So he has overcome those and others, and the game itself is hard to play. So not only is he excelling at the game itself, but excelling at every facet that being a college athlete brings. And that includes the transfer portal, that includes all the other auxiliary things that we just don't think about, right? Including meal plans, stuff like that. He's been on top of it. I know his family has been on top of it. So again, hopefully you can take this and run with this. A great episode. Again, you can catch it archived right here on Rockfin, or you can also catch it on YouTube. We'll be putting some episodes up on YouTube yet again, so that you can go ahead and catch those whenever you want as well. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I really want to say thanks again for tuning in. Again, you can get your assigned Carter Baumler rookie card. And for those who are currently listening right now, we're going to go ahead and get you early into the drawing to be able to get a signed Carter Baumler rookie card. So what happens is, if you go ahead and email us right now and just email us Carter Baumler. Just that's all you need to type in, Carter Baumler, and then, or let's go ahead and say Carter Baumler rookie card. And then what we'll do is you'll have 2 entries into the drawing that we will go ahead and announce during the coaches clinic on January 19th and 20th. So if you go ahead, and we'll get you 2 entries in, and what we're doing is we have an online spin wheel, and all it does, it spins around and goes through all the entries. And again, you'll have 2 entries instead of 1 if you go ahead and email us right now and say Carter Baumler rookie card. You can get a signed Carter Baumler rookie card. That is for sure. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, again, we will be having our giveaway, our annual Coaches Clinic giveaway. I don't want to give it away just quite yet, but I will say that you will not be in the dark with this giveaway. It's not a flashlight, I'll tell you that. It's not a flashlight, and that's all I can give you right now. It is really cool. Whoever gets it, we're looking on getting some signage happening. So we're looking to get all that set, accumulated, and whatnot. So hey, we got a lot yet to get to here. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and say sayonara for now. Thanks again for tuning in, as always. Hey, if you can, go ahead and do us a favor. Give us a like. Share this episode across social media if you can. Just spread the word, please. We would love to hear what you have to say. And by the way, if you have any thoughts, hit us up in the chat. There's a live chat that you can do on Rockfin. And if you have anything throughout the show or outside of the show hours, let us know. Either hit us up at ibaseball1@gmail.com, or go ahead, again, live during the show, or hit us up on social media, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, however you can do it. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. So with that, I think we're just going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Thank you so very much. Again, we have our way too early team rankings going to be released here in the next week. So, hey, we'll see. Does your team make it? It's really hard, guys. Here's a hint. A lot of teams deserve it. So, hey, we're going to go ahead and wind down now and say sayonara. Thanks again for tuning in to our prospect planner piece. We decided to make a whole show out of it, but really want to give a big shout out to all of our great sponsors for making this happen. And that includes Hitting Approach. So check out Hitting Approach today. And coaches out there, you don't have to add any data into a spreadsheet anymore long into the night. You have all of it working for you during the game and post-game. You have post-game reports, questions for your players to answer, and you have all the data right there. Hey, check out our show in which we had Hitting Approach on about 3 weeks ago. So make sure to check on that with Coach John of Hitting Approach, and there's a lot of good stuff in there as well. All right, we are going to wrap things up and say sayonara for our Then Came Tuesday sign. Of course, not only for our bobbleheads, which all are in good standing right here, and of course our Dwyer Brown signed ball. And hey, if you didn't notice, Cal Aldred. This is a Cal Aldred card from 1945. Yeah, that's right, Cal Aldred from 1945. Hey, we're going to look to get that signed as well. So meet us at the Coaches Clinic. But until then, we'll see each other next time. Thanks again, everybody, and stay safe on the base paths. Bye.